Out of all the footers I've had to build, this one has definitely been the biggest pain in the rear end. For one, it's almost, I don't know, I think it's 16 feet long, because it's 18 and a half feet between the two columns. Mine is 6 feet, so 13 feet, excuse me. But boy, it's super annoying, because this rock right here in the middle of this hump, that is the hardest type of rock out here. It's like a greenish color, and it is so hard. The rock hammer just won't break it. And I had to, it took probably 3 hours of chiseling, because it sloped from there down to here. And it took probably 3 hours of chiseling just to get it down that far. And I took some measurements with the grade laser and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's got to be good enough, because it's a little more than a foot thick right there in the middle. And then I've got 2 pieces of rebar. I actually bent the rebar to hump over the top of that rock and embedded it in both sides. So I'm not too worried about that. But my goodness, that thing, such a pain. So many little cuts and things like that. It's an optical illusion because the rebar is not perfectly straight between the 2 pieces. That's a little bowed, but that'll push out whenever I start filling it. But man, that thing was a pain in the neck. So it rained most of the night last night. There's standing water in a few places, and this ground is still too hard for me to be able to scrape it up with the bucket. I'm literally having to take the point of the jackhammer to break it up just so I can scoop it. And I mean, here's my trusty test stick, and if I push on this with pretty much all my might, it won't sink at all. Even though that ground is so wet, you can squeeze water out of it. So I guess this is good foundation. So that one right there had standing water in it before we poured concrete, and I took my stick and plunged into the part that had standing water, and it would only sink about 1 inch. So I gave it a day to dry out, and then I came and tested it again with my stick, and it would only barely dimple the surface after having standing water in it for a day. And I tested like 10 spots underneath that footer. And so I'm pretty confident they're not going to sink, even though they're getting water in them right now, or I guess water around them. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour all the ones on the front, because when it rains, this happens and I have to siphon all the water out. And even though it seems like over here where the water is so much lower, it's not. If I take my grade laser, the bottom of that mud puddle is still a little, well, it's about even with that dirt right there. There's just like a diagonal hump right here in between the footers of rock. So I'm having to chisel away the rock. So the plan is I'm gonna go ahead and pour all the ones in the front, because they're the ones that I'm locating the rear off of. The reason for that is I need them to be 5 feet away from the retaining wall. So I've got to have them 5 feet all the way down, try to make them as straight as I can. And then I will transfer and try to find a time when I can build all the forms between rain, and then just pour them all at once, so that I can avoid having to constantly siphon them out. I have 5 left on each side. So I'm going to try to get the ground prepped all the way down for these 5, and then start building. My wife had asked me why it takes so long to build a forum if I kept telling her it's just a box that sits on top of the ground. And that's what my initial thought was. Here I'm taking delivery of a little helper, because he was causing his mom a bunch of trouble that day, and so he got banished to work out in the sun with his dad. But you'll see him pop up here. But I said, well, it's just so much work. I've got to prepare the ground, get it level, because I don't want to have to dig down or build up. And so I get the ground really close and then have to chisel it away with a hammer because it's so hard. Then I have to locate it off of the other forms and off of the wall. And then I have to build it all the way around. And then after I build it all the way around, then I have to brace it so that it doesn't fall, and then I have to square it up and then measure it 15 more times just to make for sure that it's there, especially the footers that go between the portal braces, because the portal braces are fixed. I can't fudge those an inch one way or another. They have to be exactly right. So measure it 1,000 times. And then you've got a little helper with you who kind of slows things down a little bit. But then after all the lessons I've learned before, I've got to brace it a million places on the top and the bottom. And then I've got to put the board across the top that holds the anchor bolts. And I've got to get those in just the right location. And then I've got to get them straight with the other ones. And so it's just a lot of fiddly stuff. And then after I get all of that done, then I have to go and cut rebar. After I get all that stuff done, then I have to go down and cut rebar. I have to cut 10 6-foot pieces because that's the mesh that the engineer specified that goes in the bottom. But, you know, it's good for him to see all that. And then I have to put the rebar down and then tie it all together and make sure it's at the right elevation. This will be the last installment of videos about pouring footers. There was a couple videos here, I guess 3 in total, because there was just so many footers and it took so long and it was such a big work. But you can see me here doing another slump test, and this one came out right the first time. About a 5-inch slump, which was great for a hot day. It gave me enough time to work on it, but it wasn't so runny that it squeezed out of everything. The guy who was driving this truck was actually the guy who did most of the pours, and he was really good. We got to know his truck really well because I did like 8 or 9 pours. We got to know his truck really well. They've got a little pressure reading on them that tells you how much pressure it takes to spin the drum. And that amount of pressure equates to the slump of the cement. And so we figured out exactly how much pressure it took. So he would drive up there with it a little bit dry. We'd squirt a little bit in there until we got it to just the right pressure. And we nailed the slump just about every time the first time when I was working with this guy. And you'll notice the forms are braced in a lot more places, and I didn't have any more forms blow out after those first 2. I learned that if I braced the forms a little bit lower, about halfway down, they bulged a lot less, and I didn't have any more trouble with them. And I figured out how to fill them a little bit better so they weren't too low or too high. And I figured out how to vibrate them a little bit better and get them a little bit more even before I started screeding them. So I was getting better and better at it. So we reached the point in pouring the footers where this is actually going to be in the garage. That stake right there is close to the front corner of the house, so we've got one more footer right there, and that will complete this side. Still got to do all the stem walls. This is actually where the stem wall is going to go from there all the way to the back side of the house, and that will be the front wall of the garage, but also the wall, I guess, of the house. And because this is going to be in the garage, the outside wall of the house is out here. So this part of the footer is actually going to be in the garage and you're going to see it. But the wall of the house, it actually works out pretty good to where, okay, so the outside wall is going to be like around here, but then it's going to go right here, and the garage door is actually going to be right here. And that'll give me 3 feet. When you open your car door in the garage, you can still walk around your car door without hitting the wall. So I tried to spend the extra time to, you know, like round it, smooth it off, you know, do everything I could to make the part that you're going to see as presentable as possible. And I tried to finish out that little dip in the middle where the 2x4 goes across and holds the anchor bolts in place. This one turned out better because I could get on it quicker. It was so hot, it was just drying super fast that day. But it definitely, this one definitely looks better than this one. But this one is going to be completely covered. You will never see this in any way. It's going to be covered inside and out. The floor is going to cover all the way up to the wall. Like, you won't see that at all. But these you will, so I tried to put a little more effort into them. And now it is time to strip the forms. A couple things I think are worth pointing out here is that I'm reusing every bit of material I possibly can with these forms. I've got about $600 invested in the form material, between the 2x4s and the plywood and all that stuff, and those big giant nails I'm using to hold everything in place, and a couple boxes of deck screws and yada yada. And I reused it everywhere I possibly could. I still have that box of deck screws. They've all been used 3 or 4 times, and I've still got a pile of form material that I'm going to have to reuse for a couple more forms that are coming up in the future, but we won't video that. That big blue bar there is called a Burke bar, and I learned that from Essential Craftsman, and that thing has come in handy in a million different ways, and especially for stripping forms. It is very handy, and you can kind of see I'm using it here to pull those giant nails out of the ground because I have to use a sledgehammer to drive those nails into this dirt because the dirt is so hard. But that's what it takes to strip these forms down. Here's a pretty good look at what I was describing in one of the other videos where I split the form in half to get it around the rebar. Worked out pretty good. It takes a couple hours to build them, and then it takes about 30 minutes to completely strip them down. So here's the part that you'll see inside the garage. It looks better than a lot of these other ones. And that's as good as an amateur like me is going to be able to make it. So, get to work stripping more forms.